कुमार स्वामी नायक गोंगो लुगु लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, Fiji Day, a time of unity. New stamp to mark Fiji 50. And FMPF assistance extended.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Fiji's undying sense of hope and resilience has gotten us through many obstacles in the past 5 decades. Recalling Fiji's independence in 1970, Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama says the fear of the unknown in a new independent state was overcome when Fiji raised its flag. Koroi Tandulala reports.
Bainimarama says our independence 50 years ago was the first great leap towards the challenge of building a great nation.
Still, we can take comfort in those things that drive us, the resilience and unity of our people, our togetherness, and our internal flame of hope. Again, the future is uncertain, but we know if we work hard, if we stand together and look out for one another, we will press through this crisis onto better days, and we will be stronger for having endured it.
Addressing the Ministry of Itoke Affairs Fiji Day celebration in Suva this morning, Bainimarama says our resilience, sacrifice and strength is what binds Fijians.
As we come together to celebrate a half century later, Fiji, like nations around the world, is left dealing with the economic fallout of a global pandemic. Fiji's position on the global stage has never been stronger. Never before have so many eyes around the world been on our peoples, our cultures, and our traditions. And when we are able to finally and safely reopen our borders, I look forward to continuing that progress.
The Prime Minister acknowledged the hard work of all Fijians who have made Fiji what it is today. The main celebration will be held at Albert Park tomorrow morning. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
Post-Fiji has launched stamps commemorating Fiji's 50th independence anniversary. Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama says stamps are important symbols of national sovereignty and identity around the world. Kelly Vadala reports the event also coincided with World Postal Day, the same year Fiji was ceded to the British.
The Fiji 50 stamp will be in circulation for the next 2 years.
The logo is already very familiar to us. It is a solid circle of Fiji blue with the words Fiji 50 in white. As we have said, it represents us as a young, modern and forward-looking nation, full of potential as we embrace the next 50 years and beyond. It symbolizes our proud past and a brilliant future.
Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama says people these days rely more on email and text rather than using traditional means of communication. He adds Fiji's long-standing cooperation with the Universal Postal Union has been beneficial.
Mail service has been critical to people in their everyday lives, to businesses and to global social development. That kind of postal cooperation has been very important to Fiji because we are far from most of the countries with which we exchange mail and parcels.
Post Fiji says the commemorative stamp is a historic piece.
We ensure you that your love letters and the money transfer will be delivered safely to right person at the right place.
We must take homage and pay tribute as we look back with much pride, as we celebrate the rich colors of our country's achievements and diversity through our unity.
The Prime Minister also unveiled a statue of a postman in the heart of Suva, calling on all Fijians to take pride in 50 years of independence. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
The Fijian government is taking a practical step in making Fiji National University a regional premier institution with international accredited courses. This was highlighted by Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama while officiating at the FNU Fiji Day celebrations at its Nasinu campus today. Bainimarama says this is part of the approach in providing quality education. Jasaina Nunga reports.
The Prime Minister is reminding the students that they are the generation that has been shaped by Fiji's independence and will determine where we go next.
You are the generation that will take the baton we pass to you and run with it full speed ahead. You are the generation that has tapped into your full potential, seizing on the opportunities at your feet by taking advantage of free primary and secondary schooling and unprecedented access to tertiary institutions like FNU.
The institution is applauding the government's education assistance, allowing students to pursue their academic dreams. Acting Vice-Chancellor Dr. William May says this is evident in the financial and technical assistance received during the 2018 to 2019 financial year.
National University is committed to being a key driver of Fiji's economic prosperity and support the economic and social development of our country. Hence, it's quite befitting that FNU also celebrates its 10th anniversary this year as we leap into our next decade together with the continued support of the Fijian government.
Dr. May adds FNU will continue to invest in digital and infrastructure development to provide state-of-the-art learning and teaching facilities for its students. Josaya Nanunga, FBC News.
Meanwhile, spirits were high as Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama earlier this afternoon visited one of Suva's busiest commercial areas. Fijians came forward to meet the Prime Minister along Cumming Street. Bainimarama also took the time to meet business owners who have been part of the week-long Suva on sale. The Prime Minister was also spotted speaking with people living on the streets. Many approached the Prime Minister for photos, boosting the spirits of Fijians on the eve of the 50th independence anniversary. The Fiji National Provident Fund has extended phases 2, 3 and 4 of the COVID-19 relief assistance. Chief Executive Chauchi Koroi says this follows the continuous impacts of the pandemic felt by FNPF members. Sainiani Boiler reports 55,000 members will be assisted by the extension at a cost of $50 million.
Phase 2 was to end on 27th October but now has been extended to early January 2021 with payments to begin on November 10th.
Those who withdrew in Phase 2 Round 2 and have indicated in your application that you agreed to be continually assisted with COVID-19 withdrawals, you will automatically be re-registered for Round 3. There's no need for them to reapply.
Phase 2 will also include members who are still on leave without pay due to the pandemic or who have been unemployed since 1st October 2019. More than 25,000 members are expected to access this phase at a cost of about $28 million. Another 24,000 people will be assisted under Phase 3, Round 2, from 21st October. Koroi says members will need to reapply through their employers.
We cannot change category selections once the members' applications have been approved and processed for payment. So it's very important that members and employers choose the correct category before applications are submitted through the portal.
The extension of Phase 4 will include members who have been unemployed from 1st January 2013 to October 2019. The assistance will open from next Monday.
Members must have a minimum of $135 in their general account and can withdraw between $100 to $1,100. There is no government top-up on this phase, and the withdrawals is one-off.
Details of all 3 phases, including the payment timelines, will be publicized next week. Sainiani Boiler, FBC News.
Up ahead, Nausori bustles with Fiji Day shoppers, and Centurion looks forward to Fiji Day.
मैं टोटली दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Nausori was a hive of activity today as Fijians came out for Fiji Day shopping. One business that's seen some influx is Ishwar & Sons, which opened in 1951. Owner Seema Ben says continuing her grandfather's legacy is a responsibility she carries with pride. Vinina Rakautonga took to the streets of Nausori today and files this report.
A family business passed down from her grandfather, Seema Ben practically grew up in the shop, learning as she went.
Like our customers, they are really happy to see this old shop still running. They are coming back. Even they grow up and they are coming back and explaining that their kids that this is the oldest shop.
Ben is confident the business will survive another 50 years, passed on to the next generation.
See, day by day you are learning, every time you are learning new things in business. You are meeting new people. So I'm really happy to run.
Meanwhile, Fiji Day is extra special for a Nosori market vendor, Andi Viti Tuvakaikoya, as she will be marking her 50th birthday.
It's coming to 50 when I turn 50. And 50 is like just a normal day for me. I want to be happy that I've reached the 50th century. And I know I can make it as well as some other moms if they can reach their 50s. So happy birthday to me.
Nosori was bustling with shopkeepers taking their sales to the walkways and consumers packing up the supermarkets, gearing up for a day of celebration tomorrow. Venina Rakotonga, FBC News.
Fijians in Lambasa are leaving no stone unturned, preparing to celebrate Fiji's half a century of being an independent state. The northern town is filled with the national flag as vendors decorated their stores with the noble banner blue. Apenisa Wangarundovu reports vendors have acknowledged that history has taught them how to live in a multi-ethnic society.
The atmosphere in Lambasa is a show of unity among the people. A market vendor for 20 years, Satendra Prakash, says this year's Fiji Day celebration is special.
All kinds of people here, with one race, no discussion, and hope to be at the Super Park tomorrow.
Another vendor who decorated his stall says this year's celebration is about how far Fiji has come.
We've decorated our stalls reflecting on how far we've come, and we have a traditional canoe on display as well as fans and also leaves weaved as plates. All this goes to show how we have progressed with time.
Assistant Minister for Youth and Sports, Elvik Maharaj, will officiate at the Fiji 50 celebrations in Lambasa's Subrail Park tomorrow. Apenisa Wangarundovu, FBC News.
Fatherlaw Home will be celebrating the birthday of its oldest resident, Mary Fong, this Saturday, along with Fiji's 50th independence anniversary. Mary Fong, who was born in 1920, will be turning 100 years old tomorrow. Kelly Vadala reports.
Mary Mi Ling Fong was once a caregiver at the home along with her late husband, and celebrating the independence is something she has been familiar with.
When she arrived there with her husband, they were looking after the home that time. The husband was in planting and herself was doing the cooking for the others. But she got a lot to offer for us. But her patience, her faithfulness to whatever is done in the home, she participated also.
Fatherlaw Home staff Merila Voy says Fong was one of the first Chinese settlers in Fiji, and the couple owned a business in Batiri, Lambasa before moving to Tailevu.
We thank God for her, for the long service she's been doing the country, coming up to serve business. I think 1955, the time when the Fatherlaw gave to the church that is going to run by the Archdiocese of Suva. So at that time also she came in.
Mary Fong has been through many historic events, including our independence from the British Empire.
You can see that she recognized and know that the Chinese song was playing here, for the Chinese dance was going on, and she realized, I think her memory came back on that time.
Fong and her late husband were referred to the home by the Society of the St. Vincent de Paul. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Fiji gaining independence 50 years ago brought people of different races together as one. 86-year-old Donald Henry Bull believes that despite our challenges, all of Fiji will celebrate our unity when we commemorate Fiji's 50th year of independence. Lena Reese has more.
A former member of the Fijian Broadcasting Commission Advisory Board, Bull will be celebrating his 87th birthday tomorrow.
Well, I'd be honoured. I'd really be truly honoured. And at the 1970, that day there, we think back like your passport is a British one.
Bull says people need to also remember the decision by the Fijian chiefs to cede the nation to the British.
Who was the chief? Lakombao. He was saving Fiji from somebody taking over. So he chose the British. Trusted them.
Since gaining independence, Bull says Fiji is always a special place for him and his family, regardless of where in the world they travel.
Because when we were in New Zealand, and the postage stamp would come with the islands of Fiji. Visa, the Enterewa, like that smile, I'm home. And before we even open the letter, we look at the stamp.
Bull will be one of the special guests at the Fiji Day celebration that will be held at Subrail Park in Lambasa tomorrow. Lena Rees, FBC News.
The environment has changed drastically over the years, and those with strong business ethics have been able to thrive. Nahari Electrical Company Limited General Manager Chetan Kumar says business has grown significantly over 6 decades. Ritika Pratap has more.
The company has been in operation for over 60 years and are the sole distributors of the Panasonic brand in Fiji.
Nahari was actually started somewhere around 1955. So, over the period of time, we have seen a big change in the business, especially growth. We have a lot of growth. Before, we only had one brand, Panasonic, and now we've got multiple brands.
Nahari specializes in white goods sale and has 6 branches across the country, employing over 70 staff. Kumar says maintaining quality and ensuring customer satisfaction has been the key to success.
The business actually have diversified. There's a lot of different brands, competitors are in the market, but that's what actually drives you more. With competition, you definitely strive for more and more, and it's fun to be in competition.
He adds not only has the capital city developed over the years, but the style of doing business has also changed.
How things have changed, from the past till now, like how he used to, carry bags and, walk on the street with, sampling and all. And now how, luxury we are at this time. We get cars even to drive from here to town, and he used to walk with bags.
Kumar says it's good to see the business community band together to commemorate Fiji's 50 years of independence, a welcome sight after the lull caused by COVID-19. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
A car wash and a service centre in Kinoya, Nasinu has been destroyed by fire. The blaze started at around 11 a.m. and firefighters managed to bring it under control and extinguish it. A vehicle in the garage for repairs was completely destroyed. Firefighters and police remained at the scene for some time due to traffic congestion along Ratundovi Road. The High Court has ruled that SEDELPA MP Niko Nawaikula's comments against the Fijian Broadcasting Corporation and its chief executive were not defamatory. The court delivered its ruling this afternoon. FBC CEO Riaz Said Qayyum and the company itself had taken Nawaikula to court seeking a public apology and damages over the MP's comments on social media. The High Court also declined to award special damages. Said Qayyum says they will appeal the ruling. And Whitney joins us now with the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up in business tonight, agriculture exports grow. And in growing Fiji, new dorms for QVS. Stay with us.
Pula natango aprosa nagarse ngor kraki do televio no varong na Radio Fiji 1 nandomo hivi.
Radio Fiji 1 nandomo hivi.
The Agriculture Ministry's export performance for the first 6 months of this year has improved significantly. The export volume has increased by 15% compared to the first 6 months last year. Kritika Kumar reports.
Fiji's export base has been expanded this year.
If you look at the export table, kava, dalo, cassava, ginger feature very strongly in terms of the number top 4 export, top 4, 5 export commodities.
Dr. Reddy says Earlier, there was a shortage of dalo and cassava. However, this has improved.
We have done extremely well in terms of turning around production of a number of crops which a few years back there was a shortage, for example, dalo and cassava. So that has been turned around.
He adds the ministry is focusing on food and nutrition security and has partnered with the United Kingdom to assist Fijians affected by COVID-19. Through this MOU, the ministry will provide nursery kits to Fijians who've lost their jobs due to the pandemic.
Particularly during crises, local food production is crucial. It can increase availability of nutritionally rich food, guarantee food supply, provide jobs for those who are affected, and increase purchasing power of the families concerned.
It's expected that Fijians will be able to generate income for themselves, and the minister adds, other initiatives are in place to fast-track agricultural development. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Vision Investment Limited today held Fiji Day celebrations, acknowledging its staff for the hard work despite the uncertainty caused by the pandemic. The company has been operating for over 50 years and says despite the challenges, they still have a strong footing in the business sector.
Over the years, there have been acquisitions that has happened for the same customer that we have been serving. The financial freedom to purchase things was introduced by courts 50 years back exactly. So that's a synergy that we bring in. 50 years of independence of Fiji, 50 years of financial freedom to purchase things.
Sharon from HFC Bank joins us now with the latest from the money market.
The US dollar was little changed against a basket of currencies as investors waited for fresh news on whether new fiscal stimulus will be passed by the US Congress. The investors are confident that the stimulus is coming. However, their uncertainty is more around whether it will happen before the election and how big it will be. The Federal Reserve officials have made a great play over the last weeks for the need for additional stimulus to support the U.S. economic recovery. Some investors expect that a Joe Biden win would increase the likelihood of further stimulus as the Democrats push for large spending packages. Closer to home, the risk-sensitive Australian dollar rose 0.4% overnight and was steady early in the Asian session. The Kiwi gained 0.46%, recouping almost all of yesterday's losses after the Reserve Bank of New Zealand hinted that negative interest rates are possible. And that's all from your HFC Bank for this week. Vinaka.
Here are today's local exchange rates as set early this morning. The Fiji dollar rose against the Kiwi dollar, the PNG kina, the euro and the Japanese yen today, but dropped slightly versus the currencies of China, the US and Japan. Prices were rising on the commodities market. Oil was up slightly, now just over $41 a barrel. Gold rose about $24 to $1,914 per ounce, and silver closed up at $24.44 per ounce. "200 students at Queen Victoria School will be housed in the 2 new dormitories expected to be completed by May 2021. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony, Minister for Education Rosie Akbar says the facilities are a testament of the government's commitment to education. The government has invested close to $8.3 million to strengthen school after Tropical Cyclone Winston.
You have to make the maximum opportunity of the benefits that we are providing you. I'm sure the old scholars will agree with me and the parents and the teachers will agree with me that in our time, education was very costly and our parents had to fork out a lot of money to send us to school.
Akbar also distributed the Fiji 50 commemorative 50-cent coins to students. And that's it from Business Tonight. We now join Kelly with the latest in sports.
Good evening. Ahead in sports, Ba out to win 25th IBC title, and Rambele first local to receive international coaching grant. This and more coming up. The most successful side in Courts Inter-District Championship history, Mba is after their 25th title. After qualifying for the semi-finals with Lautoka, Rewa and Lambasa, the men in black plan to go past Lautoka. However, the Sugar City team is the only unbeaten side in the competition. Aquila Dama with a story.
The last time Mba won the IDC at ANZ Stadium was in 2007. Tomorrow it's about self-belief in the semi-final.
Like I've believe in our boys that they can do the job, so that's all in boys that how they believe in themselves.
Mba's opponent Lautoka has a different mentality tomorrow after holding Suva 1-1 last night.
Mental toughness is very, very important to play football or any other game. So that is what we have been coming across through during the training sessions. We have been counseling the players, individual players in a group, in a unit, counseling them and giving them certain activities to mentally prepare themselves.
Unlike Mba and Lautoka, defending champions Lambasa have a lot to prove, especially for their fans.
Regarding for our first day, people had written us off, but I think so. It's the boys who have come out very strongly in the 2 games, and I congratulate them and thank them for that performance.
Lambasa will play BOG champions Rewa in the semi-final. The Delta Tigers, according to their coach, have really gone through fire in the pool games.
We can see how the teams have stretched to stay alive in this competition. And it shows that the character in the boys and how the team can manage the semi-final. So we've been tested enough.
The premier semi-final will kick off at 3 p.m. followed by the second at 5 p.m. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
Machines Insulation Nandrunga is a step closer to winning the Courts Inter-District Championship Senior League title. Following a close 2-0 win over Bua yesterday, Nandrunga will now face M. Aziz and Sons Ndriketi in the semi-final clash at ANZ Stadium in Suva tomorrow. Caroline Tavi with the details.
Nandrunga will not be taking Ndriketi lightly tomorrow.
My policy has been that we always treat the opposition as another fight.
Bula FM, number 2 and seri.
Bula FM, number 2 and seri.
By good coaches, and they go through a program of Fiji football, and there's no weak team, so we take every team as another final.
Nandrunga striker Sunny Deol says balancing school and his football career has been a challenge, but he knows it will all pay off.
I feel a lot of pressure, but I have to sacrifice my studies and my soccer life. I'm really working hard to want the jumper for the Fiji team. I'm really trying hard, training hard to one day to want that Fiji team jersey.
Ndriketi, meanwhile, is keenly aware that taking on Nandrunga will not be easy.
Our boys, I think, they have passed the first stage, and we will go back to the camp and see how we can strategize and see our plans for the Nandrunga or anything.
The first semi-final is between Tailevu Naitasiri and Bua at 10 a.m., while Nandrunga will battle Ndriketi at 12 p.m. Carlini Tavi, FBC Sports.
The Tailevu Naitasiri side is one step away from winning the Courts IDC title after qualifying for the semi-finals. Heading into the semis with high hopes, they know they will need to keep up on their weaknesses. Assistant coach Priyant Manu says with several key players returning from injuries and suspensions, they can now work on finishing, which is their main area of concern.
We missed a lot of things that has been happening for the past 2 games as well. And moving into the semis, we'll have to assess some injuries and have to work on our finishing that we lack in the pool stages.
After the 3 days of pool games, 3 players have tested positive for drug use at the Courts Inter-District Championship. This was confirmed by Fiji Football Association Chief Executive Mohammed Yusuf, who said the players are both from the Premier and Senior divisions. Once the proper processes are followed, the Fiji FA will take appropriate action after notifying the players and districts involved.
In the last 3 days, 1 per day is supposed to be positive, the senior and premier inclusive, but we will, once we get the lab results and all confirmed, then it will be writing to the districts and the players. So it's 1 each every day.
Fiji Mbati head coach Joe Rambele Ndakui-Tonga is the first local coach to be paid by the Fiji National Sports Commission under the International Sporting Grant. The announcement was made today by the Sports Commission, gives way to local coaches like Rambele to have access to grants that is offered to overseas coaches. Sports Commission Chair Peter Macy says coaches can apply for a grant but need to meet the grant requirements.
Today's rugby league's turn, and we are hoping that we've also told other sports that are applying now that we hope that they have got Fijians that do qualify now under the terms of the agreement, and it very much says that they have to be internationally recognised coaches.
Another player with links to Fiji will make his debut for the All Blacks on Sunday against the Wallabies in the first Bledisloe Cup test. Blues number 8, Hoskins Sotutu, is one of the 3 new All Blacks named on the bench. The other 2 are Lok Tupou-Va'ai and winger Caleb Clark. Hoskins is the son of 1999 Flying Fijians World Cup inside centre Waisake Sotutu. The youngster says he's nervous about his debut.
A lot of butterflies going on, and yeah, just to get the nod was pretty cool. Dad's pretty happy, I guess. I didn't call him. I just messaged him and told him, and then yeah, he sent back, "Oh, good on you, and make sure you just play like yourself," sort of thing. And I'm just enjoying playing at the moment, and just grateful for all the minutes I get.
In today's play of the day, Greek star Stefanos Tsitsipas has made a comeback in the French Open after beating Andrei Rublev to make it through to his second Grand Slam semi-final. Tsitsipas will now face Serbian legend Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals.
Final in Hamburg that Andrei Rublev got the win against Stefanos Tsitsipas, but the Greek star, after getting down early, was able to get his revenge.
In that match, you referenced Steve, Rublev was down 3-5. In the third set, he came back to win. Here, Rublev was up 5-3. You know what happened? Tsitsipas reeled off 16 of the next 21 games, really took control of this match. He made 16 of his 17 net approaches into volley winners, really showed off the whole game. I mean, we're going to see a lot of power here. We see him, this is match point, appropriately closing with a volley, but there was also a lot of defense, a lot of reach, a lot of nice return. This looked like a clay court player, and he won yet another straight set match.
Yeah, lost the first 2 sets of the tournament, has not dropped one since.
That's it from Sports Tonight. Coming up in new media, check out Sony's newest Xperia range. This and more after the break.
Bula FM number 2 and seri.
Bula FM number 2 and seri.
In new media, Sony's been fighting for space in the mobile phone market for years, and this time around it promises to break the mold.
The Sony Xperia 1 Mark II really impressed me with its solid specs, 4K display, and creative apps like Photo Pro and Cinema Pro that allowed me to have detailed controls for photo and video capture. Aside from the 4K display, all of that is here in the Xperia 5 Mark II. The same Snapdragon 865 processor, the 8GB of RAM, the same triple rear camera array, the 20 frame per second burst mode with autofocus and auto exposure adjustments between each frame. It's all here. It's like someone added sharpness and contrast to my games, and it's pretty impressive, especially in a game like Call of Duty. The battery, which is larger than the Xperia 5 despite the phone being pretty much exactly the same size. And with Game Enhancer, it gets another cool ability. It's called HS Power Control, aka heat suppression. If your phone is plugged in, the idea is you could turn on the mode, and this will allow you to play longer while avoiding overheating the phone. On the whole, I really like this phone. I think it's the best phone Sony has made in years.
And Angie joins us now with the latest in weather.
Good evening and welcome to the Weather World. It's a Friday. The weather is somewhat okay. I mean, we haven't had it's raining cats and dogs kind of rain. Well, are you excited for the celebrations tomorrow? Because Fiji is turning 50. So great. Anyways, checking the other centers out for the day. In the west, the day was good, but we will see a few sprinkles later in the night. Eastwards from Peck Harbor to Suva, it was splitted into half, but we will put it as more showers over sunshine. There could be a few thunderstorms as well. And up north, nice weather with odd sunshine. At sea, southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, rough seas. Turning to the tides, high tide at 11:43 p.m. with low tide at 6:20 a.m. Sunrise will be at 5:41. For tomorrow, so here's the deal. Take your umbrellas with you when you step out of the house. It won't be anything intense. It's just the odd showers which will slip by. But just so you don't get wet in the joyous moment, take that umbrella and raincoats for kids. Tomorrow's temps, Suva and Nandi will be cool at 29 degrees. Just cool enough for us to enjoy. And looking further on to Sunday, showers again for the rest day. Well, that might fly away, so don't worry. Just enjoy yourself and have a wonderful Fiji day. That's all the weather news from here. Jackie is with you next.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji on Pulse, we asked, how do you plan to celebrate Fiji Day?
My plans for Fiji Day tomorrow that I'll spend time with my family at home.
Tomorrow I will be going to watch the semi-final. My favorite team, Rewa, will be taking the game. So yeah, I will be going with my family tomorrow to watch the game. Happy Fiji Day to everyone.
I'll be celebrating the 50th anniversary.
Tomorrow, my family and I are planning to go to where celebrations are being held and sell some food packs.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful tonight, a British teenager has defied the odds, climbing the third highest mountain in Britain only 6 weeks after undergoing open heart surgery. He was initially admitted for a burst appendix.
When 15-year-old Harvey Ackerley was admitted to the hospital last year with a burst appendix, his family never dreamed doctors would find 2 holes in his heart. 6 weeks after going through a 7.5-hour surgery in the midst of a pandemic, which involved cutting into his chest and removing his heart to repair the holes, Harvey climbed the third highest mountain in Britain, along with mom Gemma, dad Gary, and their 2 golden retrievers. Harvey's heart condition came as a total shock to his family, as the talented footballer had previously been super fit and showed no signs of a heart condition. Doctors believed the findings would put Harvey at risk of a heart attack before the age of 25. Harvey climbed the 3,409 feet Mount Snowdown to thank those who looked after him, including his charity, who climbed up Snowdown and helped him raise over $9,000. Harvey's twin sisters also helped him raise money. One 12-year-old ran 5 kilometers every day during lockdown, while the other designed special t-shirts, which will be released once they raise over $12,000. Harvey has to stay under the care of the hospital for the next 3 years to make sure everything is working fine. He shared he's looking forward to getting his boots back on and taking to the football pitch again.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, Fiji Day, a time of unity. News stamp to mark Fiji 50 and FMPF assistance extended. For these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking, will Suva on sale help businesses affected by COVID-19? Visit our FBC website to answer. And on to our shot of the day and final one for the week, and absolutely fitting, especially with Fiji Day being tomorrow. It's a picture of Bar Methodist High School students and teachers came up with their own way to mark 50 years of independence. And send us newsworthy pictures to email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News and our Twitter page at FBC_news. Before we leave, a montage of FBC building up the hype for Fiji Day, playing Children of Fiji through the streets of Suva.
Children of
मैं तो दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।